Welcome back to Urban X TV.
Yes.
We got another one for y'all. You know, before we get into this, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell button.
Yeah. We need
below.
all the love and support we can get.
And we appreciate the love and support we have been getting.
We do. We're trying to build something here. I know you're getting tired of seeing Black Dot. Trust me, if you know Black Dot prior to this particular platform, you know I do 2 videos a year. However, I'm trying to help my son build this brand, and we're trying to build a following. You will begin to see less and less of me. Side note, if you want to see a lighter side of me, I have an 18-year-old son who has a podcast called The Wait, The World According to Eli. We're going to put the link down below. And I debate my son on music, sports, video, and culture every week. He's limited in his physical ability. He has cerebral palsy, but he has this love and passion for sports. So as a dad, I want to let him know there are other ways he can show his love, passion, and knowledge of these sports. So The Wait, W-A-T-E, which stands for The World According to Eli, it's at The Wait Podcast on YouTube. We're going to put the link
down below.
Now, this is a family show. Malcolm is the executive associate producer. He does all the lighting, camera, sound. My wife does all the filming and editing. I'm his co-host, and even his sister, 15-year-old, she comes in and does like tea or rumor report. So it's a family structured show. But if you're looking for something deep, that's not the show. I'm going to be on the lighter side on that. And we just cover some basic stuff. And I'm just his sidekick, trying to nudge him and get him to rile himself up and go through these topics. He's very brilliant at what he does, though. So we don't say disability, we say this ability. And his unique ability will be on full display. So with that being said,
on this show, though,
we
get Black Dot real raw.
Yeah, you get the raw Black Dot. And this one is called What Happens in Vegas, Staged in Vegas. And we'll put a question mark because I'm not going to go through a lot of conspiracy theory talk. But I wanted to bring the people up to speed on some of the things we just covered on our last show.
Yeah, man.
And to kind of, share some ideas and concepts. But before we do that, let's talk about some basic news.
All right, so first thing I can think of was, Trump visiting Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Trump is out of control.
He's wilding.
What did you think? Or should I say, what's your question in regards to that? Because I watched it and I can tell he's agitating. His job is the agitator now.
Yeah, I don't get the point at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, the election's over. He doesn't have to. I feel like he's made his point in showing how America really feels about, black people, minority people.
And minority people. He's insensitive to the plight of humanity. Right. This is a humanitarian thing now. Mm-hmm. When people are dying and people need water and are in survival mode, and he in the press conference shooting towels and y'all screwed up the budget, right? Oh yeah, y'all really whack, got this budget out of whack. And it shows a lack of respect for people who are not Anglo-Saxon males.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans, they found out they wasn't.
Yeah, because you get Puerto Ricans. Yeah, there are Puerto Ricans, and then there are Puerto Ricans who think they're white.
Right.
They found out quick. Mm-hmm. You ain't white. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. You was just dropped off in a different location as things go, and learn the language of your captors, the Spaniards, who taught y'all Spanish. That's all that shit really means. Right. And he's making it very clear the disposition of the European male in this country, who's feeling probably more threatened than ever before. Right. Based on the global things that are taking place. And now they have their man in position. No matter what Trump does, people are still rallying around Trump. Right. And I thought it was extremely insensitive for him to act that way, dealing with the people of Puerto Rico. Then Geraldo Herrera, this dude went over there and was like talking to the mayor, like, when you say people are dying, like, What do you mean? I just came through. I didn't see any people dying. And she had to get very technical with his ass. Yeah, when people don't have food and water for 7 and 8 days, they're dying. I guess he wanted to see bodies laid out and things of that nature. But yeah, the definition of dying is decaying. Means you're going through a slow process of the life force leaving your goddamn body. And if you don't get water and food for 7 days, motherfucker, you dying.
Right.
So, you know, Geraldo is off his meat rack as well. These Republicans are really getting bold with what's going on with that. So Trump, again, agent of chaos. Go watch The Dark Knight once again. When, you know, he basically was telling you, I ain't in it for the money. I ain't in it for none of that. I'm just trying to stir the fucking pot up.
Right.
Right? And I always told you, out of chaos comes a new form of order in one way or another. So we're going to get into that when we start talking about the Las Vegas shooting. Right. And I want to lay some things out. But anything else we need to...
Right before we get to the Las Vegas shooting, this happened yesterday. Cam Newton...
This nigga.
He told a reporter asked him a question about one of his receivers, you know, the physicality of his routes, and he laughed. And he said, you know, I think it's funny, you know, hearing a female talk about routes. You know, he laughed it off. Yeah,
he has a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is not the first time he's made statements of that nature. Now, you can feel that in your heart, but you don't say that, especially not at a press conference, because these women work hard to get in these positions. They know the game better than some of them dudes standing there because they study, right? So by him saying, it's funny, a woman is talking about routes, means she need to be in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant. What the fuck you doing here?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he made another similar statement when he said, go ahead, sweetie, to another reporter last year or 2 years ago. Go ahead, sweetie. You don't call no professional reporter sweetie. Like, she don't really need to be. Go ahead, fellas, go ahead, sweetie. It's very disrespectful on his part. And then when this particular lady approached him, you know, on a one-on-one after, he doubled down. Like, I don't even know who you are, what you talking about. So he didn't even see nothing wrong with those kind of statements. And that's very particular because as a black quarterback, that's like me saying to a black quarterback, wow, the way you stay in the pocket and figure out defenses, you're smart. I'd be offended as a black quarterback because what the fuck are you saying?
Right.
We can only run and jump, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's how white people feel about black quarterbacks. Like, oh, they're not really smart. They can't see the defenses and really read defenses. All they can do is their athleticism. That's the cold word. They're very athletic. That means you're not smart.
Right.
That means you're only relying on your physical abilities to get the job done. How would he feel if somebody said that to him? And I'm not taking up for female reporters. If you know the job, you know the goddamn job. Right. You should be qualified and disqualified by your understanding of that particular position. I never really liked Cam Newton anyway.
Yeah.
I always thought he was a front runner. When he's winning, everything is great. When he's losing, he's got the towel on his head at the side of the bench, disassociated. Look how he acted when he lost the Super Bowl.
Right.
That was tasteless.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's demonstrating that, you know, his moral compass is just a little bit off. And they're going to check him on that heavy. Cannon, is it Cannon? No, not Cannon. Dannon. The yogurt people
they just dropped him.
They dropped him. You know what I mean? So that's kids. Kids eat that Go-Gurt shit and all that. So that's a big endorsement. And, you know, monkey see, monkey do. So other people will go, we dropping them too. Yeah. Because these are insensitive statements.
And the fact that he didn't, like, you know.
Immediately apologize. Pardon me, that was very distasteful on my part. I should know better. Being a minority in this country, I should know better than to do that. Nah, he was like, whatever. So when you take that approach to it, there are consequences to pay. And just as these people give you that money, they take that money away.
I don't think he realizes the tightrope he's on as a black quarterback. He just thinks because he's the franchise quarterback,
he will learn soon.
He will.
He will learn soon. Yeah. He's down in the Bible Belt too, North Carolina. Yeah. He will learn soon that you don't treat women of that capacity. You don't say that. That's some locker room shit that you say on the low, like, yo, fuck, man. That was, and from what I understand, she asked the best question of the whole press conference. Just let it be. We got Pam Oliver. We got Doris Burke, who just became the first female play-by-play caller in the NBA this year. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it's like that's why it was weird. Like
Aaron Andrews.
What do you think this is? And he said, and then it's like even in football alone, like they just hired a woman referee,
absolutely,
a full-time coach. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
so like,
absolutely. Dude. And they work them sidelines, and they know what the hell they talking about.
Yeah, it's like, dude.
So, dude, that was funky, but he'll learn.
Yeah,
he'll learn.
All right, so let's get into the big news this week. Was the Las Vegas shooting where Stephen Paddock, he killed 59 people
and over 527 people injured. I first want to say my condolences to the people who lost their lives and my condolences to the fake people who may have died too. Just want to throw that out there. I know that's starting it off a little on a controversial tip, but I told you last week, real people can die in a fake movie. I just told you this. Go watch last week's video. They have the ability to put crisis actors, and I'm not saying this was a hoax. See, people think when you say hoax that the thing is fake, that the whole, I can see simpletons and trolls now. So you mean 22,000 people was in on it? No, it's not what I'm saying. If me and you, we black folks, this is for black people. Me and you and 10 of our boys can go to a concert, right? And synchronize our watches and say at 8:01, make a loud pow sound or, fake gun, and us 10 just start running and say gunshots. We will clear out the whole goddamn stadium.
Right.
And the only ones who was in on it was us. Black people understand that. We'll be 10 blocks down going, yo, what happened? While white people will be the ones like, why is everybody running? No. So it's not uncommon to have, out of those 22,000 people, 500 people scattered in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Right. That began a process of taking off running. And the way they do it too, I'm skipping ahead, but I want to show you. If it's an inside job, they know we gonna only shoot people on the east wing.
Right.
All of our crisis motherfuckers is gonna be on the west wing. Like when they killed Dr. King off the balcony, they said the friendlies won't be wearing ties. So Jesse Jackson ain't have no tie, and all of the Reverend, as Dick Gregory broke down, these guys weren't wearing ties, or either the friendlies will be wearing ties. I'm not familiar. It's been a long time. Whenever Black Lives Matter is starting a rally or a movement, right? And spies or agents are in the crowd, they are all dressed alike, meaning they all might be wearing the same kind of shoes. So this is how the police can identify the friendlies. This is goddamn 101. You know what I mean? Right. So we have to get ourselves out of the mindset that a false flag means everything in the event was staged. And I'll say it again, real people can die in a fake movie. It happens all the time. Right. And if I got a gun and I'm at a stadium and I bust off some blanks and 20 of my boys start running, he's got a gun. I might not even have a gun. I could light a goddamn firecracker. Right. I can clear out the whole stadium. People will be injured. People will be traumatized. And then people will walk up to cameras and tell you what they think they saw. It was crazy. I heard the shots, and then it was just mayhem everywhere, and people were falling, and right? But that could be a crisis. Those could be crisis actors filtered in, or what we call a false flag. I'm not going to call this a hoax, but I didn't see no dead bodies. Okay, I'm just telling you what I saw. I saw people running. I heard shots. And I heard shots from multiple locations. The lady in the cab I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, this is on video.
This is on video. Okay. The lady in the cab who was just filming anonymously, right? Mm-hmm. You hear the shots right on top of her. Then you hear. So you know this is not an echo. Ain't nothing to bounce and ping pong echoes off. I listened to the police scanner reports. See, this is what you have to do when you want to begin the process of just processing the information. They said multiple shooters. You had people say, nah, that shit came from the 12th floor. No, that shit came from upstairs. And if you bust out the windows, there has to be some kind of mechanism or alarm that goes off in the hotel that lets them know a window has been breached or cracked.
Right, and in Vegas, right?
In Vegas, first of all, people, Vegas is a police state. Everything is filmed in Vegas. And there are cameras in every single, not just in the casinos. If you scratch your ass, they got that on tape in Vegas, right? So what that tells me is, because I'm processing information, either, and I want people to understand this too, if it was a lone gunman who marched 23 guns up to his room with thousands of rounds of ammunition, and then had the wherewithal to set up cameras in the fucking hotel hallway where he was so that he can see who's coming in and out, bust out the fucking windows, right? And then start airing people out 400 yards away. Keep in mind, this was like 4 football fields away. So he had the power to do it. If it was a random lone gunman who conveniently kills himself,
Every time. Yeah.
every time, so that there's no answers, right? Then there are those who are opportunists, the gun lobbyists, the people who are against guns, because the narrative is always the same. We need to take people's guns, right? They may show up on the scene to take advantage of the situation. Let's just say that, right? Just like Al Sharpton, if a kid gets shot by the police, he just magically appears, right? Because he sees an opportunity to get on camera. The family gonna sue. He probably can get a little kickback on that because he gonna recommend what lawyers you use and this and that. There are people who are against guns in this country, your Second Right Amendment, and are looking for opportunities. And this was the biggest in the history of Americans.
Air quotes.
Huh?
I said
air quotes.
Yeah.
And they also refused to call him a terrorist. But we'll get to that in a minute. So even if some random dude did that, there are people who take advantage of that specific opportunity. Now, I like to watch the body language of people who get on camera after just witnessing the most traumatizing shit they've ever seen. We are a desensitized country. And I find it hard to believe that 22,000 people had cameras, because everybody got a cell phone. I remember a time I didn't need a cell phone, right? I needed a beeper and some coins, right? But now we need cell phones. And they all got high quality cameras on them. And I'm combing through the internet looking for dead bodies. I saw one video where some people's eyes was open and blood was on the floor and yada, yada, yada. Our people love gore. This is the gore era. We love, how come these rappers who get shot in their neck on World Star are still live streaming real shit? Yo, I just got shot, fucking, right? But when I went to find, with that many people shot, I wanted to see the actual carnage. You know what I mean? Somebody go, yo, and this, and I can't find it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. For the trolls and simpletons out there, I need you to just think about this for a minute. Even if YouTube and Google has the ability to filter out those pictures, what kind of power do they have? Right? So, bear with me, I'm jumping all around. You can jump in any time with any specific questions. But also, I just saw something come across CNN that said YouTube has decided to censor those who are looking on their channels for The code words: false flag, hoax, crisis actors. 1.1 million inquiries were on that subject. So that means that people are inquiring if this is some false flag shit.
Right.
They made that instead of number 1, they moved the shit down to number 5 or number 6. Go on CNN. I saw it. Just came across before me and you sat down. Right. It came across. And I'm like, wait a minute. If they have the power in an era of free information, this is the era of free information. Like Chuck D said, don't be dumb with a smartphone. You have the power in your hand, not just for selfies and Snapchat shit, to access information. Information in real time, right? Mm-hmm. If YouTube has the ability to filter what you can inquire in your search, then we do not live in a free information era. You think you live in a free information era. And that's even more dangerous than false flag shit because they control the narrative. Right?
Right.
So this guy, let's get his profile. Clean. Millionaire.
Yeah.
No criminal record. No religious affiliations or political views.
Right.
Don't really. This is the perfect American citizen. That's alarming too because what they're saying now is anybody and everybody is a threat. That's how I process that. Wasn't some Muslim, Allahu Akbar, wasn't none of that shit. This is the good old, and who did he gun down? What concert?
Country music.
Country music. These are conservatives, right? These are conservatives who got gunned down. So anybody can get it. And anybody and everybody now is a suspect because he didn't leave no, they saying it was a note now. They also said he was planning to escape. How the fuck was he planning to escape? With all of them gunshots ringing down at that rate, how? No, when you're trying to escape, you plant a bomb. And when the bomb go off, you 8 blocks away, you get in your car and you pull the fuck off, right? So we know there was no escape plan. His wife or girlfriend he sent to the Philippines to get her out of the way, sent her a stack. So is this a suicide mission? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to lay this out in layers so that even the simpletons, because here's the thing as well. CNN can provide, if you don't choose to go past that, they can provide all the answers you need. CNN and Fox, you get the story, lone gunman loses his mind, carries 23 guns up to his hotel room, sets up cameras in the hallway, busts out not 1 but 2 windows, and lets off for 10 minutes. You know how long 10 minutes of letting off is?
Yeah.
Before they get to him, and when they get to him, he decides to kill himself. CNN can provide those answers if you look no further. Or what they provide can be a problem solved for X, right?
Right.
So for those of us who are trying to think a little further, we want to solve for X. X represents the unknown, right? And when you want to know about the known, what do we study? The unknown, what do we study?
No.
We have to study the known so we can process information to at least come up with an equation to say this is maybe what really happened. So I weigh all the information. What CNN and them provide is just solve for X. It's not the answer. Mm-hmm. But for those who it is the answer for, just cut the tape off now. For those who don't choose to at least think a little further, and this is not a conspiracy theory. I'm simply saying I have general questions that everybody should have. What was his motive? Who stands to benefit from this type of carnage? If they're trying to take our guns away, could this be the incident that takes it over the top?
I don't think so.
No, but yeah. I'm going to tell you why I don't think so, because when 1.1 million people are inquiring on YouTube, let alone Google searches, about false flag, remember, these are analytics. And now they have hardcore data that says the people ain't ready for us to stage Operation Gumbo. because there's too many people know that this is bullshit, or too many people questioning. Now, this false flag narrative works both ways, right? Because you might see some real shit and go, that's fake, right?
Yeah.
All they need you to do is wiggle a little bit. A little bit of uncertainty works both ways, right? There's real UFO shit going on and we go, that's fake, right? Some of it probably deliberately put in out there by the government because we're all test, samples now. And now that we live in a digital era, this is the digital era, all of these applications and social media outlets we go to, they provide information. Like, let's say you're running a 6-week campaign to sell your shirts. You need that 6 weeks of data to tell you, okay, we did good on this day, but on this week we didn't. That's all. And it's the same thing with what people believe and what they do not believe. Very simple stuff. But we've made this, we're quantum stupid now as a people. I'm sorry, we're just quantum stupid. We don't question anything. We just say that's the narrative. That's what it is. So we have to be very careful. Who stands to benefit from this type of things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, also, like I said, I didn't see any bodies. I saw people running, just like in Orlando, which was another big shooting. I didn't see any bodies, dead bodies. I saw crisis actors walking the wrong way with goddamn bodies. I saw them carrying bodies back toward the club and crying. And these people are very insensitive. Like, if I just saw 7 people with their head popped off, I'd probably be in tears, crying, traumatized. But some of these people who are getting on camera just act like it was a normal, So one guy was like, my friend, man, got shot 3 times, man, in the chest. And, we carry him, we threw him over a fence, man. And then another guy just died in my arms, man, right on the table, man. And, And I'm like, God damn, like, have we as a people, and I'm not using that as a conspiracy theory, have we as a people have become so desensitized to trauma, pain, and violence that we speak about it in a matter-of-fact manner now? You know what I mean? Like, where is the true trauma? And did you see the police chief?
I did.
All right, he looked nervous. He had the FBI behind him the whole time. He looked like he was reading off a script as well. Just watching body language. And I know he didn't get no sleep. And I know, there were certain things going on. But another thing you have to watch for the people who are, this is decoding 101, right, is the first stories that pop off. Because usually the first run of CNN or Fox, you get a lot more information before they all get their stories together. And they all line up their stories and say it was the 32nd floor when people are like, nah, them shots was coming from the 12th floor. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the lady in the cab who had nothing to do with that, she was a cab driver on duty. And you can hear her talking to the dispatcher, telling her to get out of that specific area. You hear the shots right on top of her. Close. And then you hear him. That's a military tactic. So that if there's more than one shooter and this is the main shooter, you can't zero in on him as quickly because if it's one shooter, you should be able to zero in on him immediately. Any questions before I go any further?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Now, with that being said, there are those, like I said, who will take the original story and you can do what you want to do with that. His own brother was like, I ain't never seen nothing like this. Right?
Yeah.
His own neighbor who lived near him for 7 months said, dude, this dude just sat in his garage and drank beer and went around the corner to the bar and played the slot machines. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is saying like this. So is there a mind control operation involved? Was he a patsy? Right? Now, the first thing I did is look at the date. And it was 10/1. 101. Right? Now, 101, that's basic, right?
Explain for people. Like,
Cooking donuts, 101. Hip hop, 101. I mean, this is ground level shit. You know what I'm saying? it is also binary codes, right?
Right.
Binary codes are algorithms used to help you reach a specific goal through a sequence of numbers and events. Keep that in mind too, right? So if I press this key, the keyboard is going to do something, right? Because of the binary code, which is ones and zeros. Also, your cells in your body are acclimated to, binary codes as well. And I only say that to say, if they wanted to plant something or reach a specific goal, binary codes would be how they do it in a digital era. Now I'm getting into my reach shit. I'm reaching now. And I reach way down in my bag when I have to. But binary codes is the first thing I thought. 10, 1. Also, esoterically in occult realm, when you see the two ones and the zero in the middle,
that's what I thought you was about to go first.
That's a portal.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a porthole. That's a gateway. That's a stargate. Go see the movie The Matrix Reloaded. When they had to go see the Merovingian. They was up the elevator. They got off at floor 101. Why? Because the Merovingian lived in another dimension. Did he not?
Yeah.
He lived in between worlds. So that was symbolic that they was going through a porthole to sit down with the Merovingian to discuss getting the key maker or whatever the case may be. Look it up, 101, even the 9/11 with the two towers, the invisible void is still 101, right? So if I was making a sacrifice to an entity, oh boy, I'm reaching now. I need some water, all right? Because we're going to show you on multiple levels how everybody can be correct about the same things based on what your understanding of how things work. And that's how I tend to break things. When I filter shit from an esoteric, occult realm, a practical realm, a numerology realm. You know what I'm saying? I look at the news and I try to come up with something that I says, all right, this could make sense. This was a lone gunman. So, the date, 10-1, right? Now, he checked in on the 28th. All right? Okay. So I want to talk about the number 10 in itself because 2 and 8 is 10. 1 plus 0 is what?
1.
1. So you still got 10-1. You still got 101. You still have your pillars if you understand how you have to carry these numbers over. So that one, which may be invisible to the layman who just go, I don't see the other one. 1 plus 0 is 1, right? So if you lay it out like that, numerology, you always break numbers down to the last remainder. You still got 101. And if you add the whole date, 9/27, right? 9/28, which is the date of September 28th. 9 and 2 is what?
11.
11 plus 8 is what?
You said 11 plus 8 is 7.
11 plus 8. Come on, college grad. Come on, college grad.
11 plus 8, 19.
19. 1 plus 9 is what?
10.
10. 1 plus 0 is what? 1. You still get back to.
Okay. You
okay.
Went that way. Okay,
well, I'm just trying to. Yeah. I'm going the long way because I got a lot of trolls.
Yeah.
Who, and then if you want to use the date 2017, you still get 10. 2 plus 1 plus 7 is 10. So we're dealing with a numerical value here as well.
Right.
Right? The festival was called the 9/1 harvest. 9 and 1 is what?
10.
Okay, so we got a narrative going.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, so it was called the 9/1 harvest. And harvest, what a name for a place for people to die.
Wow.
Okay, so you could harvest, they could have been harvesting body parts, organs, or harvest to an entity in the 5th dimension for my ex-filers, right? A sacrifice. It was also, today is the harvest moon. Okay, so we got a full moon. The harvest moon only happens once a year. And it's usually during the equinox, the fall equinox. This is why a lot of people had September 23rd as the date it was all going to end, the world is going to end, this usually happen on summer and winter solstice, equinoxes, those who do ritual work or prepare for things. And it's also the harvest for farmers. This is how farmers who didn't have watches back in the days, our elders and ancestors, knew when to plant seeds. Right?
Right.
They knew the harvest moon is here. We're going to plant this shit. Now, when April come around, them cherries and berries and shit, watermelon and potatoes and shit, this shit is going to rock. That's how they did it. They understood, moon cycles and all of this kind of shit. Now, when I say seed, don't necessarily mean a physical seed. It could be an idea. That's how you also plant seeds. So maybe something is coming along down the line based on this particular event that will lead to the result, problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian effect. It's a fucking sandwich. They have the problem and the solution. Your shit in the middle is the reaction, and they go, all right, y'all keep asking for it. We just gonna take all the guns. Now, side note, they're not taking guns from black people because black people are killing each other. So they're not after your gun, black man, because you're not going to go up against the government. You will pop the top off 5 black people before you turn to kill a rogue officer or a crooked judge. We know this already. Our self-hatred is what it is. But there are militia, right? They are sovereign white folks, as I told you in the last episode, who understand that their First and Second Amendment rights and all this means something. And the reason that was built into the Constitution is so that rogue people cannot take over the government. That means you can strap your shit up and protect your rights. They're trying to get rid of all of that, but they can't just do it or make the amendment because the NRA is powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
I didn't realize how powerful they were until this election.
Oh, man, they are very, very powerful, right? So they have, I'm just laying out another narrative for people on how something can take place and other people can benefit. And if you are demonic or esoteric and you understand occult principles, I didn't make this stuff up. There are 50,000 books on occult, esoteric, Eastern type of sciences that we have no understanding of here. So I don't want you to think I'm reaching. If I'm reaching, then there are a lot of books out there that are reaching, right? Study the Dogon, right? Read Robert Temple's book, or I think it's Robert Temple, The Serious Mystery System. Our ancestors just understand things that they may not be able to explain in linear terms or technical terms. So when they went over there to see the Dogon and they asked the Dogon where they was from, and they said, we from Sirius B. That shit is behind the sun. We come through the sun. The sun is a ring. We've come through that shit. We hit the water. We was dolphins, and then we just decided to just stop being dolphins and walk on Earth. Shit. And they said, what the fuck? The fuck are you talking about? And they said, no. They drew it out in dirt. Every 50 years, the ecliptical rotation of it and shit. And they laughed at these people. And then when America's technology, look this up, caught up to have the advanced technology to see out that far, the shit was exactly what the Dogon said it was. Now, how's that possible? Because our ancestors understood things that are called magic or greater understandings of the universe that we have lost because we're on quantum stupid, right? These same people with a bone in their nose, half butt-ass naked, knew where these star systems was. Peter Temple's book, The Serious Mystery System. It's a great book. It's in your library, young man, that I bestowed upon you at the age of 22. But I say all of that to say there are certain things that we just cannot explain. Right. Or have a greater understanding of. Do not mean that they don't exist. We label them voodoo and magic. There are Masonic lodges, not the Masonic lodge your Uncle Bob is in, and all they do is have fish fries and shit. And I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about real Masonic lodges where they keep secrets, and you have to be sworn into this shit, right? Them motherfuckers They understand the esoteric, so they can look at a date and go, wow, 91 harvest? Right before the harvest moon comes in and the dates line up, 101 and portholes and dimensions, and they can make sense of that. And if all of them people actually died, wouldn't that be a great sacrifice during the harvest? I'm just laying some pieces out there so that we don't get linear in our ability or way that we perceive information.
Okay, so let's take a little step back. So when we talk about, because like the media, they're a lot of people want to make the conversation about guns and that little what's the piece that he's putting on, like
the piece to make it an automatic.
Yeah, to make it an automatic gun. So
like a barrel, some kind of barrel. I don't have the proper terms of it.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. So I don't think, like you just said, I don't think they're trying to take away guns because I don't think they want to alienate white people who really own guns legally. If that's the case, like if black people, I think if enough black people own guns legally, that'd be a major problem. That'd be a problem.
But they also understand, for those who are trying to take over the government, the white man is the most dangerous. The white man with guns is the most dangerous man, because he understands his rights to be here, so to speak. We are a minority group who are really geared on killing each other. I'm sorry to say it, but that's just what the facts say. We have not elevated to the point where we understand the importance of bearing firearms legally and getting the proper training so that we ain't gunning each other down. We don't even know how to grow food. You know what I'm saying? Let alone fire weapons or understand the full depths of how to survive in a crisis. Every supermarket only has 3 days worth of food on its shelves to service that community. So if the whole community came to the supermarkets in your neighborhood, it's only 3 days and then it's gone. Right. So we don't even have survival tactics. So this could be a long play, or this could also be a look left while we do shit on the right. Mm-hmm. We haven't heard from ISIS in a while. ISIS claimed they had something to do with, they always trying to claim shit. Yeah. This also be connected to the kneeling down at the football games. This is all connected because you are unpatriotic if you do not kneel. You know what I mean? So see how the narrative even works with that. So they have data there to tell me how many people are patriotic, how many people are not. The patriots are the ones who loading up their guns. Yeah. And it's my right to do so. So, okay, these niggas ain't patriotic. They just worrying about, Kaepernick and police brutality. That ain't got nothing to do with the grand scheme of how this game is played. You got to think chess, not checkers. Right. And there are moves that must be made in place to bring this about. This is an ongoing narrative. Some Sandy Hook, the movie theater. Every time mass people die, the same characters come out and are fighting against this particular situation. What's going to have to happen before the people sign something into legislation that says, all right, we got to do, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to me, that's where this is going, but that's just one narrative of it. You know what I mean? A clean American with no criminal record, even though his father was on the FBI's wanted list. That's something totally different. Clean, any everyday American could just snap. That's another narrative. Yeah. Nobody's safe now. You know what I mean? And so that's something else you got to also look at. Country singers or country concert goers ain't safe. You would think them the safest motherfuckers on the planet, right? They're not safe. Who's safe in this country? They have to keep fear going in this country. Yeah. All right? They have to, because once things calm down, you know what we start doing? Thinking. No, there are more functional illiterates in this country than you can imagine. There is no thought process going. They wake up, the light turned green, that means go. Right? They go to work, they flip burgers. Or whatever the case may be. You don't even need to, you understand, there are more people stuck on quantum stupid than you can possibly imagine. These are filters now. Who Googles what? They have a big supercomputer that tells them, they do psychoanalysis on all kind of people now. That's why we got to start tapping into the dark web when you really start searching shit that you don't want triggers to go off. Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for sweatpants, and now every time I log on, they going, yo, we got sweatpants. Models, we got, motherfucker, I got the sweatpants already. Your shit ain't that advanced. Your shit should tell, oh, my bad. We see you went into Models and you bought your sweatpants. That's where this shit is going to be going soon. But this is all an information age, but they control the information. So we are on an information lockdown, which is scary shit because even if all that them people did die and there was blood and guts everywhere, their ability not to show it or to black people's cell phones out where they can't film it and go to their YouTube channel and put it up, because our people love gore. You know what I mean? Since when we don't want to see somebody with their fucking guts out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The average millennial, so to speak, right? If they have the ability to black all that out, and they have the ability to take all the cameras in Vegas, which cover every inch of Vegas, especially the Mandalay, that's a high quality joint, and they can control what we can see and what we can't, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. Unless
it's for the fact of the investigation and certain things are not. But the dude killed himself.
Yeah.
Are y'all looking for somebody else? Is this a military operation? Is he a Manchurian Candidate?
That's also the thing, because they're treating the investigation like, all right, he killed himself, so I feel like now you're just looking for a motive, I guess. But they're not treating it that way. I don't feel like.
You said he tried to escape. Then, I mean, I saw some pictures. I also saw this one picture which disturbed me. It was a picture of police officers kneeling behind a car, and two black dudes was on their cell phone, not even kneeling. Right by them, by the police car.
By the mayhem, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, dudes, like, shouldn't y'all be kneeling too if the police are kneeling? Or was that some Photoshop shit? I don't know. Because even when I see people running, there are other people standing up, walking around, like ain't nothing happening. I'm confused. So I don't want to get on too much on my conspiracy theory shit. But, you know, not joking, if people really lost their lives, and I believe they did, my condolences, but I also understand that real people can die in a fake movie, and some of this shit could be intertwined because they're trying to push a narrative. So stay awoke, keep your eyes and ears open, and at least run things through a filter, whatever your filter may be. Because I went to Geometria. If you understand, Geometria is the science of taking words and getting a numerical value of those specific words and other words and other words that have the same numerical value. So I put in Mandalay Bay shooting, and I got 2017 written out in words. I got Masonic conspiracy. I got 9mm weapon. I got a number of words, and for the Jewish mysticism, that's how they operate. So they use and understand that one word having the same numeric value has the same goddamn value. You say, I can use the other word, or I can use that specific date of 2017 to connect to Mandalay Bay shooting and open up a portal and create a vibration numerically, because the universe is all numbers. Magic is nothing but mathematical equations in the grand scheme of things, right? So for those who study Jewish mysticism, the way they process everything is geometria for them. They lay everything out in words, and they'll lay my name out and get a numerical value and see what other words match with that to find out how they want to knock me off. The shit may say black dot, boom, the number's 91. 91 may also be Dunkin' Donut. I go to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning time. That may be the perfect place where a stranger bumps into me and blow my head off. And they just created a ritual based on numerical value. They do this shit. The truth is stranger than fiction. You understand my point? Now, that's a reach, but then again, maybe not. Just showing you, based on what level you are, all of this shit can be true, and none of it can be true at the same time. And with that being said, you already know what it is. I need you to subscribe.
You know what I mean?
right? I need you to log on to our blog, which is urbanx.nyc, and see some of the written scrolls of what it is that we're trying to do. I need you to go down and check my son's joint out, the Wait Podcast. He's a brilliant young man. He's going to be on ESPN one day doing his thing. So subscribe, log in. This is what we do. Peace.
Peace.